Yeah, good evening, guys. It's Monday. It's Monday once again, and we are here. It's today we are racing in the USA, and as usual on the Mondays, we are two of us here that's providing a commentary for you guys. Me, Mārtiņš Bērtulis, and as usual, Jānis Viļumsons with me. Yeah, and as we are getting, let's say, ready for the qualification, and here are the first, let's say, cars that you are seeing already in the qualification. The guys are having a warm-up lap before the qualification starts. And of course, before the qualification starts, we want to say a big thank you for everyone that is helping us so that we are able to provide this stream to you. And firstly, and the biggest thank you goes for our Patreon supporters. So thanks again, guys. So you are the reason why we are able to provide this stream to you and also, let's say, iterate to you and also see the racing together. And of course, big thanks goes also to the coach Dave Delta, where it's the place where you can get setups for different kind of racing games. Yeah, and as Jānis already mentioned, there would be quite a lot of diving and quite a lot of good racing, hopefully, because the COTA is quite wide track overall, and there's a lot of opportunities to overtake the car in the front. So there should be a quite good battles, let's say, between the drivers and a quite close driving. But at the same time, we can see the sector one where you can get a lot of track, let's say, track cuts, and you can have a drive-through penalties also there. So the drivers should be really careful. We saw that also in the tier one, the guys picked up few drive-throughs, especially in the Imola, for example. So let's see what COTA will bring on the table in, let's say, in this aspect of the racing. And here we see Matteo Piccolo that we're driving with, and he's getting he's turning left after the big straight, and right now once again going back to the right. And maybe Jānis, you can comment more about, say, the track, the corners and everything, so you can go together with Matthias in his next flying lap. Yeah, let's see what George can do right now, being in the 7th position. So he will have most probably 2 flying laps. At least if he's going to the out of the pits right now. We were talking about the tires, so it's a bit easier in, let's say, in this race about the tires, because we have 60 minutes of the race and we have 1 mandatory pit stop where also the tire change is mandatory. So basically that means that if you split the race into 2 halves, it means that you need to keep the tires okay for 30 minutes. And so for tier 1 guys, I think it should be doable and it should be fine.
Yeah, hello everyone. I've now realized, I think maybe it did work initially when we started, when we looked at the standings, hopefully. But at least while we have been now in quali, and I have been talking quite a lot, guiding us through the track and the specialties of it, it seems my mic was not being, well, basically recorded by the stream. Unfortunately, I'm very, very sorry for that. That must have been a long pause because I was on a bit of a monologue there, and yeah, we did not notice it. But thank you, Pasmaedi, for letting me know, and well, at least now we're here. So now it should be okay. But to give a short summary, so basically, yeah, I was just talking about a little bit of the different parts of the track, the specialties, what I think maybe the tires, how the tires might affect the race, because of this first sector through the S's, and then this last sector is quite difficult on the tires. And then after this topic about the tires, I was getting into the gap from Karetskis, where I said that basically this, well, basically a 2/10 gap from Ramunier is definitely a lot if we compare it to the previous sessions, where sometimes it was a couple hundredths of a second between the top drivers. So at the moment it does look like Karetskis has put in a really good gap, but of course there's still time for well, another or 2 more laps depending on where each car is placed at the moment. We see that, for example, Ramunier has just started a new lap, and he's already improving his delta by half a tenth going into the S's. So I mean, if he's able to keep it this way, it's possible for him to basically attack Karetska's pole position time. But yeah, I'll stop mumbling about what I already said. So yeah, Mārtiņš, if you had something you wanted to mention, please go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that it could go both ways, right? From one, we need to say sorry that we didn't hear you, but maybe for some of the spectators, it was really nice 3 silent minutes with only racing and only cars. So
exactly,
it really depends. So hopefully, at least someone enjoyed the silence and the cars driving without us commenting. But let's say regarding the qualification, so. We have seen in this season that it's not that easy for other cars to overtake Mustang, and especially right now seeing that Karetskis is 2/10 faster than everyone else, it could be quite tricky. Let's say to overtake Mustang in this race, especially with the big straights that we have, as we know. The Mustang has a really great, let's say, maximum speed and also really good acceleration. We have five Ferraris catching him right now, and those are not 5, let's say, the similar Ferraris. 4 of them, yes, Ferrari 296, and we have one 488 driven by Samir Foch. And we see improvements. So right now, Ramunier is only 300ths of a second slower, so they're coming closer. But we can see also that Kareckas is improving.
So
at least he was. So he will most probably after finishing. Oh no, it's his start
yeah,
of
that
the new
was
lap.
his.
So let's see.
That was Ramonier's last opportunity here. So he got very close, as we mentioned. He was able to put it together, but not enough. Kareckas improved from his earlier lap, so and he's currently improving as well by around the 10th. So we do see that also Jonathan Riley currently is improving, but if we believe or think that Kareckas might maintain the delta that he currently has, then with that improvement, no one is going to catch him. But of course, there's still more than half a lap for him, and in case of Riley, well, he's already in the third sector, so let's see if he can manage to put it together until the end. And well, he could definitely still climb a few positions. It's very close, and between P2 and P4. So he could definitely land between all of them or ahead of them. Let's see what. Ooh. It does look like that Riley tried to use the toe from the Mustang ahead. I couldn't understand who it really was, but they slowed down just before the finish line. I'm not sure if that did impact his lap.
No. It seems that Riley improved almost one
Yeah,
tenth of
he
a
was able
second
still,
basically,
yeah.
but he improved, but it was not enough to get let's say to climb any position. And we see that Kareckas also finished his lap, and he improved his time by 1.5 tenths. So it's the same basically 2 tenths difference between Kareckas and Ramunier.
Yeah. This might be one of the biggest gaps we have never had. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but at least lately we have had very big battles between the cars. I mean, if we take out Kareckas between P2 and P6, it was less than just above a 10th or just a 10th between P2 and P6 or even P7. So it's definitely a big battle behind Kareckas, but at the moment it does look like there is going to be a bit of a challenge for everyone to find pace to match Kareckas.
Yeah, and we saw quite a big jump from George Boothby in the last his last lap. So there were a lot of Ferraris, let's say, together, and we see how the results changed. Right, few laps before, I think Samir Foch was third, fourth. Right, at the end he's ninth. So Remy Papin improved his time. Also George Boothby and all the others. So that's yeah, it will be really interesting race. Especially in the Lexus between between 5 Ferraris. Okay, so I think it's the time for us to go through the starting grid. So starting from the first position, our current also leader in the championships, Grantas Kareckas. On the second, Axel Ramunier. Third, Luke Whitehead. Starting from fourth position, Lucas Congratel. Starting from the fifth, George Boothby. From the sixth position, Jonathan Riley. From the seventh position, Chris Hartwell. Starting from 8, Remy Papin. From 9, you see different Ferrari. It's Ferrari 488, driven by Samir Foch. And from the 10th position, Krister Spodans.
Yeah, then starting the next set of 10 cars in P11, we have Alejandro Perez. In 12th, Alexander Kniezhitsin. In P13, Wilke van der Meer. In P14, Matteo Piccolo. In P15, Jonathan Clifford. In P16, Josh Waring. In P17, Gaston Delerba. In P18, Alexander Luboslavsky. In P19, Davy Hill. And closing out top 20 is Munir Kabir. Then in P20...
In the 21st position, sorry, Adam Radek. So I think he haven't driven before, so he's new this season.
I'm also thinking if we have seen this Mustang, probably no.
Then 22nd position, DOR. Then 23rd, James Cowley. In the 24th position, JR Lock-and-Low Jr. In the 25th position, Ferry Schroeder. 26th, Nathan Pierce. 27th, Adrian Anton Mārtiņš. 28th, Ivan Borimechko. 29, Miguel Silverio. And on this, we'll start from the 13th position, Joe Dober.
And then the last set of cars for in 31st we have Benjamin King. In 32nd we have Nico Kumpu. In 33rd we have Elliot Barron. And closing out the grid in 34th position is Stephen Theobald. So I feel like we have a bit less cars than we have had in the race prior, so maybe they do agree to something I mentioned actually when, well, you probably didn't hear that personally I'm not that big of a fan of COTA when I'm driving it myself, so maybe it also falls together with other drivers, they're using it as the drop stage, but maybe it's just a coincidence.
It also requires, I think, one of the DLS of the game, so that could be also the reason. That's sometimes the reason. It shouldn't be in the tier 1, right? But sometimes in the lower tiers, it could be the reason. But yeah, you see, it really differs from the driver to driver, because this is I think one of the tracks there. Either you love it, either you hate it. There's not much in the middle, because you see I'm the fully opposite. So I really like this track. So this is one of my, let's say, favorite tracks. It's the same as Paul Ricard. I also really like it, and there's a lot of drivers that don't like it. So I'm kind of hipster. It seems so, because I like the tracks that no one else really likes.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I think there's a lot of people who do like COTA. So it is somewhat special. So I think it's just a matter of preference. But yeah, I mean, this track definitely does offer a lot of opportunities for going in for the dives. And then also these long straights to try to catch up with the toe. So of course cars like Mustang and Lexus should have a bit of a field day when it comes to these straights. But let's see.
Yeah, let's see. It's once, let's say, there is one situation in the qualification, right, and there could be a bit different situation in the real race, because then there's always a car in front of you that you can have a tow. So I think it will be really interesting to see that, okay, we have a Mustang leading the race, and as I said previously, so especially taking in account that Grantas is 2/10 faster in his fastest lap, it will be quite difficult for other guys to overtake him. But let's hope that someone will be able at least to challenge him. So it's interesting for us. But I think it's interesting that we see a Lexus between Ferraris, and also we see Remy Papin, let's say behind the Ferraris. So that could be the thing, especially in the straights, where some interesting things could happen. So let's see, the guys are lining up already. There is there's one corner only left, so they are going to the straight finish straight, and the race will shortly begin. And then let's see. So it's 60 minutes of COTA with one mandatory pit stop. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, we see that all cars have now lined up. One's on the straight, and we are about to cross the start-finish line and start this round of racing. And we see that that has happened. Grantas Karetskis is trying to keep the inside, and in the same time we see that Whitehead has tried to go on the more wider line and has been attacking Ramonier. Now they're side by side, and at the moment they have been doing it the same, going through S's, and Whitehead has passed him going into the second set of S's, and this has been very successful for him. We see that Ramonier has lost a little bit of momentum going into the S's, but he has maintained P3 at the moment. Lucas Congertel in P4, Riley in P5, would be in P6. Couple position changes, I think, also here. Yeah, so Remy Papin has jumped two spots, so the Bentley is doing its job, and now he's trying to attack also Boothby, coming out on the big straight.
Yeah, we can see that Samer Foch has lost, I think, 2 positions. And also, yeah, also Christers Podans is up 1 position. So we can see that, yeah, Remy Papin is getting inside of the Boothby, but Boothby is, let's say, keeping his place, and he, at least for now, it seems that he's able to maintain his position for sure right now. When he's crossing, we see that Podans is losing some positions.
Yeah, he's battling with Foch there. Yeah.
Exactly, so it's a really close battle in the first lap for all of the drivers. It could be really interesting, I would say.
You see that already. For example, Borimechko has gained 5 positions already. Very successful first lap for him. A lot of aggressive lines there ahead for Foch and Podans. Foch is staying on inside, Podans outside, but he's able to stay within the, let's say, base of the car, and now going through the S's, they will have to go side by side. But I guess here in this place, the downforce advantage on the Ferrari was coming, and Samir's advantage, and he was able to close it out for now. But let's see if this changes at any point.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting first laps, and have a lot of, let's say, to come. So yeah, let's see how the fights will go forward.
The moment we see that James Kelly has done has been the fastest. He has reached the top speed of 268 km/h. And then, as an example, Karetskis in cleaner has been able to reach 264. And actually, the cars behind him have been a little slower when it comes to the top speed. Of course, those are Ferraris. So yeah, even with not having any tow, Grantas is still one of the fastest cars on the straights. That's basically the takeaway here. But at the moment, we do see that there's a massive train of cars. We do see that at some point people are showing that they will go for an attack. In some cases, they do not. Actually, it's just to make the other car react and hopefully have a bad entry into the first turn. But at the moment, at least I have not seen any massive crashes, though I think few cars have definitely been in them, because we do see that JR Lock and Load Jr. has lost 10 positions, so it's possible that he was in a contact. He's now attacking Theobald, and there's a little bit of a contact going into the last part of the S's, but he is, well, gaining a position with a pass. Bit of a train here, very close, sitting next to each other, this group of 4 cars. Looking at the front, Congratel and Riley are having a bit of a battle here, very close. Riley is sitting in Congratel's bumper, so it does look like he's currently a little bit faster. If you look at the lap times, at least the last, well, they're very close, but anyways, 300ths of a second between them. With Riley sitting so close to Congratel, it definitely means that he's just a little bit faster, and let's see if he's able to use any tow, which is not that strong on the Ferrari, but either way, let's see if we have a move now.
Yeah, I see that there's a question in the
and there is
comments.
a move. Riley is jumping in into a long dive, and that's a big send. There we have a massive jump, and he overshoots, goes out of the track, and Congratel is able to switch back and even make it well, better for him, as now the gap is 0.8 seconds between them. But yeah, sorry, Mārtiņš, go ahead.
Yeah, so we have a question: is the Southcote racing today? So now I don't think so. At least I haven't seen
no, he is not.
a surname like that. So yeah, now we can see it. The difference between Congratel and Riley is, say, keeping the same level. So let's see if Riley will be able to get closer once again and try to overtake. At the same time, we see that George Boothby is quite closely together with Remy Papin. And also Hartweld and Samir Foch is quite, say, close to them. So there's been a few laps, but there's still some trains ongoing and, let's say, battles going on between the drivers.
Yeah, there's a massive train between P16 and P24. So between Wilke, Vandermeer, there's just, you see in the back, there's just a long train of cars being on 0.3, 0.4 seconds between all of them. So of course, now a lot of cars are getting the tow, so it's maybe not as easy to make moves, but surely this will lead to many more dives, like the one we already just saw from Riley sending in on Congratel. And we saw a bit of a move there in the back. BOR is trying to pass Davy Hill. There's a little bit of a contact, but at the moment it works out for Hill. We see that Whitehead has hit one of the billboards. At least it looked like so. And Ramunier is actually getting closer to Whitehead. 0.7 seconds. Let's see if we look at the last lap, it was 2/10 the difference between them. So at the moment it does look like Ramunier is quicker, but maybe it was just well, particular sector that worked in his advantage. But it does look like he has just gained another 10th through this straight, so he is getting closer. Another battle between DOR and Davy Hill. DOR is coming back, and this time he has the inside, and we see a big jump in there from Clifford, and he's able to slow down the car enough, and now there's a big battle between Clifford and DOR. And there's a contact between, I think, Borimechko and Hill is, well, suffering there, and he's been spun out. But that was a big late braking move from Clifford, and he's able to clear 2 cars for a moment. But going into the next turn, DOR is able to get it back. But it's a nice action we caught there from the massive train in the middle.
Yeah, very unfortunate for a Hill losing positions to the other drivers. At least it seems that there shouldn't be a lot of damage for him. So hopefully he will be able to get back into the fight with these guys.
Yeah, so here of course we have this train at the front between Boothby, Papin, Harteveld, Foch and Podens joining in as well. All of them being, let's say, 0.4 seconds between each of them. So somewhat similar fashion. Let's see if we have any big moves coming out at the end of this long straight that is coming up. I mean, I could see something coming out from the Bentleys, though of course they are being, let's say, led by Boothby here. So in his Lexus, which is a difficult car to catch on the straights. But, well, a late dive is always a possibility here. I see that Harteveld has closed in on Papin here. And this is the part of the track where I do think that the Ferrari definitely comes alive. So let's see if he's able to get maybe by in this part of the track before the sausage curve. Where, I mean, it's a difficult place to pass, but sometimes an opportunity might show itself. But it doesn't look like it is at the moment, as Papin was able to gain a bit of time coming out of the 180 turn.
And I think we have a first drive-in and drive-through penalty already. So it should be because of the track cuts.
Yeah, we see that it's Adam Radek, the person that we believe is doing his first race now in Tier 1 this season. Maybe we are missing an Adam if you're watching. Sorry if we have maybe missed this, but yeah.
We can see, and that's interesting thing. We can see also that Adam has been given a 15-second time penalty for causing a moderate avoidable collision. So that's interesting right now, as he most probably, when he will clear his drive-through, then we will see his 15-second time penalty. So the drive-through is, let's say, the bigger penalty. So that's why we see that one. And yeah, so we have 5-second penalty for Miguel Silverio, and those are, let's say, the two inquiries that we have right now with the penalties. And we can see right now let's say, the good old train with Remy Papin, George Boothby, Chris Hartwell and Samir Foch. So it's yeah, we see that the guys are changing, let's say, changing the lines and trying to overtake each other, because it's even if the track is quite, let's say, quite wide, it's still not that easy. And driving in the train, because as soon as you get out, let's say, from the ideal line and try to overtake, if that's not successful, it means losing positions. It depends from in which position in this train you are. If you're the second one, then you can lose basically three positions really easily with one really small mistake. Yeah, now we can see from the Podance Bentley, and we can see also that the camera is from the other side. If for all of the other cars, usually we will see this camera from the right side of the cockpit, as Bentley has a steering wheel on the right side in the car. Then we have this camera on the left side. So yeah, it's a really interesting angle. Let's say we are basically seeing the same angle as, for example, Ramunier, Whitehead, or Kareckas is seeing in their car. So it's a bit different driving, and of course, in let's say level what these guys can drive, there is no problem. But for the, let's say, from the first times when you're getting into the Bentley, for example, for a drive, it it really makes a difference, because on all of the left corners, you are, at least it was for me, that I was really far from the apex, going on the turning into the left, because usually it's the easiest side, let's say, and you are seeing that corner. In the Bentley, it's opposite. It's easier on the right side, and we can see how late Podance is braking and almost hitting the back of the Samir Foch, but they are, let's say, able to get away with it, and let's say without any collisions. At the same time, here we can see Jonathan Riley, that's really close to the Lucas Congratel, but we can see that Lucas Congratel is 2 seconds slower right now than, let's say, 2 seconds behind Ramunier. So at this point, it seems that Grantas Kareckas is in quite stable lead, let's say, and it will be really hard for everyone to overtake him, especially as we have almost the same pit strategy for everyone. And after 13 minutes, everyone will go into the pits to change the tires. So yeah, as I said already in the qualification, and let's say it's proving here in the race, it's really hard to let's say fight Bentley with the fastest, also the driver. Let's say in this track, or at least today, because he was also first. He was able to set the fastest qualification time, and yeah, as we see, the Luke Whitehead is losing already 3 seconds to the Grantas Kareckas, and then Ramunier is quite close to him, and then Congratel is 2 seconds apart. So right now, I would say the top 3 is quite set, at least for the moment. So let's see if some changes could happen, because we see that Riley is quite close to the Congratel already for a lot of laps. So if he could be able to overtake, then of course we need to check if he can get closer to the Ramunier or not. And here we can see also, let's say, our good old train with the 5 cars. We see that Remy Papin has, let's say, fallen a bit. A bit further away from the George Boothby at this point, and I think we can see some cars from that have pit already. At least I think that's the impression, at least, because that's for sure not Jonathan Riley. That's in front of George Boothby. So let's see what will happen right now, if the driver ahead will let's say will let the cars in the back of them overtake, or not really. So then we see that the marshals are showing the green flag for the guy ahead, but at the same time, as he have done his pit stop, he could still be, let's say, on the track and in the front of drivers. So let's see. I'm pretty sure that anyhow George Boothby will be able to catch the driver in front of him, and then it could also mean a time loss for the driver in the front. If he would try to, let's say, to slow down the cars in the back of them. But we can see already how maybe that's just let's say the difference between the Bentley and between the Lexus, but as the Budby is not that close to the driver with the blue flags in the front, but still we can see that drivers are getting a bit more closer to each other. So this is, let's say, this is already the gap between the cars where every smallest mistake could cause a positions. So we see that Remy Papin is getting closer to the George Budby, and we're getting on the straight. On the straight once again, and before the straight we can see that, let's say, that all four cars are really close to each other, and Podans is fallen bit back, let's say, of this train. And yeah, here we can see that at the start, let's say at the middle of the straight, we can see already how far Bentley has went compared to, let's say, Ferraris. And then on the braking we see that Ferraris is once again, let's say, getting back, and the gap is getting smaller. So yeah, you can see how different cars are acting differently. So some of them has better acceleration, some of them has better handling, some of them has better braking. For example, in the straight, at the start of the straight, we see how Bentley is getting away from the Ferrari, but at the same time, at the end of the straight, the Ferrari is getting closer because of the, let's say, top speed. And we can see already how George Budby is very actively defending his position to Remy Papin. He's closing the, let's say, inside of the corner. So Remy is not able to jump inside because he sees that he's faster. Yeah, and right now
there's a dive from Papin, and there's a bit of a contact which comes in hand for Harteveld as he's able to coming the inside, and now we have a 3 wide going into the S's. And Budby comes out as the victor here, and now we have a heavy battle between Harteveld and Papin. Papin goes out of the track again. It's been a very aggressive, brutal battle, and now he has to do it the same against Samir Foch, and he has another contact with Samir here, and they're still going side by side, and it looks like Samir has gained from this as well, and now the battle is Podans and Papin. So I think we can and we see that Samir Foch has gone very wide, maybe looked too much in the mirrors and has lost positions, and now we have a side by side between him and Kniezhitsin, and also Papin and Podans. But what I was trying to say is that this move from Papin going and diving in into turn 1 has turned into him losing many positions. Well, actually by now only 2, and we see that he has outbraked himself again, and there's an opportunity for Podans to come in back once more, going into this part of the S's, though we do see that Papin is able to hold the position for now. So what a turn of events by just one move from Papin. The whole pack of train was changing positions left and right, and it felt like immediate chaos began. Drivers missed their braking spots and were going off the track, having different touches. So it could be also that the tires are now maybe struggling a little bit, especially when you are starting to make such moves. So definitely interesting if we'll have any of these drivers in the interviews later.
That was let's say the thing what we were talking about, right? And the funny thing is that when I make an sample, I said if the car driving in the second of the train, and that was really Remy Papin who did it, and he lost 3 positions because let's say in this part of the track, last lap he was 2 positions let's say lower, but then he was able to get back. So yeah, that's really interesting. But we can see that right now Remy Papin is more than 2 seconds, losing to Chris Hartwell, so it will be really tricky for him to, let's say, to get back and to gain this time that he have lost. And the same for Samer Foch, for example. We thought that it's at one point we thought that Krister Spodans has felt a bit off of the battle, right? After a few corners, he's back into the battle and he's fighting with everyone. And when the other guys are fighting, then we saw that that Kняžicin is also able to get closer to everyone. So even to fight with Samer Foch, who was able to keep his 10th position. But we can see also that two drivers have a 15, I think, second penalty. That's Josh Waring and Alejandro Perez. So let's see what happens in our board. Yeah, we see that. Yeah, basically it's the same. It's the same incident involving 3 cars, and in that incident, 2 guys have received a penalty. So car number 34 and 111. So those are Waring and the Perez. Yeah, that's really interesting to have a one contact. Let's say one inquiry with the 2 guys receiving a penalty, but at least from the description that we have, it seems like a really intense driving between those guys. So what's happening in the front, we see that Grant Skareckas is leading the race, and he's getting away from Luke Whitehead. The difference is already 3.7 seconds. Then Alex Ramunier is only 4/10
off from
behind,
Whitehead. Yeah,
behind
I
Whitehead.
think that is definitely part of it. Luke has to look at in his mirrors. Maybe he does not have to look into them all the time, but Ramunier is close enough that if he does, well, miss, so in a position like here in these long straights, Ramunier might go for a big dive like we saw already from Papin and earlier from Riley as well. So maybe also him covering off Ramunier is costing some extra time. So, but either way, I mean, today it does look like Kareckas has just another gear, and it has been working out for him.
And we see that let's say a few of the guys are trying to do that's okay, small but still undercut, going into the pits right now. And the first ones that went into pits, let's say at least from the top 10 drivers, were Chris Hartwell and Krister Spodans. But at the same time, we see that Ramunier is getting into the pits, so he's also trying to have an undercut, or maybe he's trying to protect his position to Hartwell. Hartwell was around 2.5 seconds behind Ramunier before the pits. So let's see. Also, we see Remy Papin and also Budby, I think, were the two that went into the pits. So yeah, we have 32 minutes left, and let's say everyone is thinking about the pits already. So I think say the remaining drivers will go into the pits in this lap or either lap after. So it depends from, let's say, from their strategy, because if they feel right now that the tire wear was quite big in the first, let's say, into the first stint, and that it's harder to drive a car after 20 or 25 minutes in the COTA, so maybe they will try to stay on the track a bit longer, so they have fresher tires at the end of the race, so they are more competitive. Let's see what the strategy will be and who will be the one that will stay on the track the longest, let's say. So here we can see Munir Kabir in the 9th position right now. Dior R is in front of him, and Davy Hill is behind him, but who was unfortunately spun in one of the battles that we see also in the stream.
And yes, sorry for interrupting. I see that in chat. I thought where did we lose Lucas Congratel? He was sitting so close, the car ahead, and yeah. So now we have a confirmation that, well, it does look like his cat wanted some additional attention, and apparently his cat has turned off his internet box, so race is over for him.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Let's say for him.
Yeah, but I mean, at least he's able to maybe pet his cat a little bit and watch the race. But of course, I mean that's yeah, maybe just a small gain out of all of this when of course he was fighting for that oppositions here. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, we see that also the previously mentioned Abir and DOR both are also now in pit box, and we do see that Luke Whitehead is coming out of box, and same with Samir Foch. So let's see where they do come out. So as an example, we see that Chris Hartewell is now about to cross the start-finish line, same Boothby and Puadan. So if we look at Whitehead, he's already out of turn 1.
Yeah, but it seems that Ramunier was able to get in front of him.
Yeah.
We see the white Ferrari in the front, so that's let's say undercut worked for Ramunier so far. Let's see how it will end up at the end of the race when Whitehead will have 2 laps fresher tires. But still, I think the position in the track is really important. So if he's in the front, it's not that easy to overtake. And as we saw that before they were sitting, let's say, very close to each other, it's like it was really stable and really constant. They were driving like half of the second. The Ramunier was behind Whitehead right now. Whitehead is 7 tenths behind Ramunier, and I think it could get a bit bigger because it's still the tires are warming up, and we see Jonathan Riley and Grant Skaretis also in the pits right now. So it will be interesting where the Jonathan Riley will come out and how far from Ramunier and Whitehead he will end up after the pits. And the Grant Skaretis also still standing in the pit. So we see that Karetskis is starting to move and he's getting away, let's say, from the pits. Riley should go after around 5-6 seconds, most probably. That was the difference before, and we see that he's also getting out. The difference is not that big, let's say, from the Karetskis and Riley.
It seems that Grant has spent a little more time in the pits, at least that's how it looks at the moment. So let's see if this spices up the race in any way. We do see that Ramunier and Whitehead are both crossing the start-finish line. So let's see, Karetskis is now only coming out of turn 1. So definitely the gap has shortened to 2.8 seconds only between him and Ramunier. And then there's 1.5 behind Luke Whitehead, and Riley has come out after Whitehead. Well, a solid gap ahead of Harteveld, 3.7 seconds between them. So Jonathan is in a bit of a no man's land if you think about having any tow or slipstream, but maybe this is also somewhat good while he's warming up his tires. He's able to do it at his own pace, and then we'll start to think about if he can make some ground. We do have 2 cars that have yet to pit, one of them being Alexander Kniazhitsin. Let's see if he jumps in now, and he does. So there was his, and then the other car is Alejandro Perez, who is also jumping in. So that confirms that all of the cars have now done their pits by minute 26. So in the top 15, not many cars within a second of each. Quite big gaps. But then if we go to the, let's say, well, further down the midfield, we have a massive train from Ljuboslavski up to, well, this is not the big train, but definitely is one of them. Ljuboslavski up to Schroeder. And then there's another one from P19 down to P25 between Schroeder, Kumpu, Hill, Waring, Baron, and Borimechko. So definitely still quite many battles happening over here. And yeah, also didn't want to drop to this screen, sorry, but yeah, definitely have to agree that lots of Ferraris in the top 10. Well, I think all in all we have had quite many of them in the top 10 overall, most of the races throughout this season. Like, I would say we average around 4 or 5 at least, which is of course a lot.
And that we can see also in the, let's say, in the standings that we have. So right now Jonathan Riley is in 3rd position, Luke Whitehead's in 4th, Chris Hartewald 6th, Lucas Congrotel 8th. So basically in the top 10 we have 4 Ferraris, then Ramunier in 11th, Samir Foch 12th, and Alejandro Perez 14th. So that's, and yeah, last race in Suzuka we saw Sam Gaskell that joined at least for now only in that race, but he said that he will be back to the next 2 races, and he was 2nd also with Ferrari. So yeah, a lot of let's say drivers choosing Ferrari that are fighting for the top positions this year. And of course also Lexus, that is, let's say, I think in a couple of last season it wasn't the choice, but this season the Lexus is quite, let's say, good car.
We do see that Munir Kabir has received the drive-through penalty. Definitely tough for him. He's been fighting in this midfield battle here, and probably that is the reason. Being in this train has meant that he's probably pushing a lot, trying to make moves, and that has cost him, well, by doing a track cut. Let's see if he jumps in the box now. He does not yet, so he'll try to find a better time for it.
I think he still wants to enjoy some close racing and some battles as long as he can, because after going into the drive having a, let's say, serving a drive-through penalty, he could come on track alone. So as it's 22 minutes left, everyone I think is looking for some good battles, and those guys are delivering good battles for us that are really trained, yes, with a lot of drivers. So starting from the P19, Schroeder, then Kumpo, Hill, Waring, Baron, Borimechko. So basically we have 6 cars really close to each other, and this is once again the same thing. You do some small mistake or you try to overtake and then get back from the line, and you are losing position. So that's that simple. And interesting is that, okay, we have 3 McLarens also here in the row, but still from these 6 cars we have 4 different cars. We have a Porsche, we have Aston Martin, we have McLaren, and also Ferrari. So yeah, really interesting battle between 6 drivers and 4 different cars and manufacturers with the different pros and cons.
So here we are about to see a move, a defensive line from Schroeder, and we do see Kumpu going in quite aggressive, going side by side, and then there's a lot of contacts there between Hill and Baron, I think, and they're able to maintain. It did look like they spun there for a minute, but that's how it goes when you have so many cars close to each other. A small mistake, late braking into these long straights, and then you have a lot of action, a lot of chaos going on. And here we see that Munir Kabir is coming into the box now for to serve his drive-through penalty.
Very unfortunate for the hill. We saw him once again get spun or spun himself. So that's still a question. But still, yeah, getting into some action once again. But it's even in the tier 1, it's really hard for 6 cars to drive that close to each other. So at some point there should be some problems, most probably. So here we can see that they're crossing their lines with the Baron, and the question is, will they be able to go side by side? And no. The answer is no.
And that
they
was
tried to do it,
painful,
yes.
for Elliot Baron. Not the best place where to go. Well, I don't know what was the speed, but being taken out at like definitely around 180 kilometers an hour or so, going in straight into the wall. Yeah, definitely a race over for him.
Very, very unfortunate. I would say he was really high, at least, and that's 20 something, low 20s, because let's say usually in the last couple of races we have seen that he's, let's say, at least in the qualification, let's say somewhere back of the pack. So he was doing really great. He improved by a lot of positions and did a great till this moment when he get into the fight with Hill. So yeah, already let's say third accident involving Hill. So let's say his car is scratched up from all of the sides, but yeah, really unfortunate. It's really hard to go let's say too wide and to go close in those corners, and it also didn't work well in this time. And unfortunately, let's say the inner car was the one who spun, and there was not much place where he can recover, and he went straight into the wall.
Yeah, but somehow Davy Hill is driving a McLaren tank, so he's able to keep going. But yeah, I mean, here we still do have the battles going on in the midfield. Here we have Kumpu and Schroeder fighting again. We see that Kumpu maybe had a bit of a moment there, trying to well, keep it straight on the road. It looked like he had his rear was trying to jump out, but he maintained it. Though of course this works well for Schroeder, that he's been able to create a little bit of a gap. One thing that didn't mention the race has been full of action is that we had a comment here stating that well, sort of upping us both, Mārtiņš, saying that they liked the commentating here, that we are doing it a little more chill this time, with a nice narrative style. So thank you for the nice comment, and let's see if we can maintain this level or hopefully improve. That is also what we always try to do. It's only the fifth race now that we do now here together, so in Apex Online Racing, commentating. So definitely a lot that can be improved, and if you do think of something, then let us know. But at the meantime, we see that Kumpu was pushed out a little bit by Schroeder, and this works for Hill, and Hill again gets into another crash. He hit Schroeder in the back and takes him out, and then we see another contact between Waring and Kumpu, but they're able to still stay on the track. So Porimečko goes past all of them, but if to sum it up, Davy Hill is really driving in a tank tonight, getting into many contacts.
Yeah, getting let's say getting spun over and in the first time and right now spanning over a few other guys and
And
hitting
here we
out.
see
So
him going for another move against Borimitschko. He was very early there, so he probably will be able to, yeah, keep it within the lines. And then we see a contact between Borimitschko and Varing on the exit of the turn, but he's able to keep it between the lines as well. And however, Borimitschko has lost it going through the S's. That does work in Hill's advantage as he's able to create a bigger gap. But this means that Varing and Kumpu are both closer to Borimitschko. We'll probably have a battle here. We see that Varing is going sideways into the turn. And then looking at what's going on maybe more up in the field, we have Papin and Foch battling it for P8. 0.6 seconds between them. But looking past this, all the other cars in the top 10 have either 1.5 or... Well, actually, Boothby is getting a bit closer to Harteveld, 1.3 seconds between them. Lexus is doing its job, but yeah, there's bigger gaps than maybe we have had in the previous race between the top 10 cars. I think we have been a bit blessed in the previous races while having battles through the whole race between the top 5, top 6, top 8 all the time. This time it seems that it has slowed down after the boxes.
yeah, but it's also COTA is one of the longest tracks also. So where let's say the difference could be a bit more because there are a bit more, let's say, corners, and for the shorter tracks I would say it's a bit more easier to be results to be similar to each other, and also guys to get closer and to stay closer to each other, because it's a bit easier to learn the, let's say, 1.5 minute track than more than 2 minutes.
Yeah,
It's
but
also the case, and
Suzuka was very close. I mean, it's also a very long track, but it was very close. So I think maybe the night helped there a little bit to keep the cars closer to each other. But yeah, I mean, it does seem that maybe really the tires and the different strategies here have cost maybe more, but we have to give shout out to Grantas Kareckas, who's 5.3 seconds ahead of his closest follower, who is Axel Ramonier.
yeah, but also Axel Ramonier is having a really good race. So he was keeping himself quite close to the Luke Whitehead. So the gap was he qualified on the second position, but at the first corners, Whitehead was able to to overtake him. But then Ramonier was really careful in the laps after, so he was keeping the gap like half of the second for Whitehead, and then on the pits he was able to overtake him. And right now we can see the gap is let's say somewhere a bit less than 2 seconds, and it's like quite stable at this point. So it seems that Ramonier has done a quite good let's say strategy on not trying to overtake Luke Whitehead on the track, but doing an undercut and then proving his pace, that he's faster, let's say, without when there's free air in front of him, he's faster than Whitehead, of course. There's that question, what will happen in the last laps, because Whitehead went 2 laps later into the pit, so he should have fresher tires, but as there was not much of a fighting between those two, I would expect Ramonier to keep his, let's say, position and keep his pace. And right now we see quite a big battle between Alexander Perez and Joe Dober. So we see even some, I would say, I'm a bit random lines from Alejandro Perez and showing himself to the Joe Dober mirrors. And so that's, I think, one of the closest battles that we have right now. Yeah, it's the second closest, because Lockenlow Junior is a bit closer to Dell'Erba, but okay, right now the gap is a bit bigger there, and can see that one car, I think, Josh Waring, he got a drive-through penalty and he's going into the pits. So yeah, that's why I saw that there's a lot of guys that are gaining a position, and that's because of Waring getting into the pits.
Yeah, and here we have a battle between Samir Foch and Kristers Podans. He's been closing in for a while. Papin was actually in the beginning closing in, or was close to Foch, but at the moment Samir is on a big push. He's quite a bit faster than the cars around him. Even also Boothby, another position ahead of him, so he's quite close to Hartevald's and Jonathan Riley's pace. So yeah, we could see him get by Kristers. The only problem, of course, is the big power of Bentley coming out of the turns, but at the moment Samir is faster, and especially through this section of the track. So let's see if he's able to set up himself for a big pass somewhat soon, and then maybe even challenge George ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you to the commentator that wrote that we are doing a great job, and a comment a bit. It's a bit. We are in a bit different time zone, let's say, from most of the drivers. I would say so. It's a bit more late for us. So it's right now it's 10:48. So that could also help to be a bit more chilled, because it's late evening already. So everything is done today. So you can. You are more chilled as the evening is getting more, let's say, late and late. Usually the people are getting chilled, but it's really a privilege that Jānis was able to join this season when Tim was not able to be here, because especially because Jānis has quite extensive and a big experience in the sim racing, especially in the forgot the name of it, but basically, so the long races,
endurance
races, yes, and endurance racing. So he has a lot of knowledge on how to save tires, about the strategies and so on. So he can really, let's say, add some value with his comments on the strategies, also on the tire wear and so on. So yeah, it's a good time to say thank you, Jānis, that you were able to join this season, and that's really great, and you're sharing a really good insight.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been fun, but we do have a lot of fun here on the track as well, with Foch following close to Podans. And I did say that let's see if he's able to get him through this section, but it's proving to be difficult. And at the same time, I think that Podans is getting also closer to Boothby. They are both quite a bit faster than Boothby at the moment. So in case of Samir, I think well, decisions. I think he has to try and make the pass as soon as possible. Otherwise, if Podans will get close to Boothby, it might prove quite difficult to catch those cars, or will make the pass, because both of those have a lot of pace going out of the turn. Even if Samir currently is faster through the well, for example, through this section of the track where you have a lot of turns. But at the same time, if Podans does get close to Boothby, maybe he's able to wait while they fight and pass both of them. But let's see how this develops. They have only 7 minutes left, and yeah, so they're both closing in on Boothby at the moment.
Yeah, I'm really impressed on how Samir Foch is able to drive 488 on, let's say, on all of these curves, because it's the let's say the it's the, how it's called, Achille of the 488, right? So it's the one of the trickiest things to drive on the curbs, and in this track you to be fast you need to cut quite a lot, and you need to be on the curbs all the time. As we can see here, it's already fourth corner in the row where you need to go onto the curb, and there's the fifth one. So basically on every corner you need to cut on the curb, and you need to be really close also to the sausage curb. So yeah, you should have a really good control of the car to be able to keep the 488 balanced, and not to slide that much. And we see that Remy Pappin is getting a drive-through penalty. So we saw that as Samir Foch was getting closer to the podans, most probably also Remy Pappin thought that, okay, it's my time to get closer to those guys. So he was really pushing, and most probably pushing with the 2 or 3 track cuts. It's always dangerous, and he proves it getting a drive-through penalty, most probably because of the fourth. He gained the fourth track cut.
Yeah, so as we have been talking about, both Podans and Foch are still getting closer to Boothby. If you look at the last lap, it was a 10th between Podans and Boothby, but the lap before it was, I think, 3. So slowly but surely they are getting closer to Boothby. Of course, this is only about getting closer. That doesn't mean that they will immediately pass. There's not that much time left less than 5 minutes. And as I was talking about for Samir, well, yeah, he is faster, but he has to make a move soon, because, well, one thing is getting by Podans, but normally, but now that Podans will have this tow from Boothby, yeah, well, he will have to be really fast through these well, S's and these turn sections, because on the straights it will be quite difficult.
Yeah, and at the same time we can see that Davy Hill has been given 2 15-second time penalties. Firstly, for sending a car number 6, that's I think the Baron, into the wall, and the second one for spanning the car 222. So that's yeah, so that's let's say 30 seconds in total. So yeah, quite, as you said, quite an intense race for Davy Hill, and also he got 4 license points in both of those, let's say, together in both of those inquiries. So he should be really careful in the remaining of the race, because we know, at least I know, that if you get a 5 points in one race, then you have a race ban for the next race. So yeah, Davy Hill should be really careful right now, and for the remaining 2 laps at the race that we have. But we can see the wing of the Lexus, and we can see Podans and Samir Foch driving there, a bit more further away from the rear of the Lexus. But at the front we see that Grantas Kareckas right now is still leading with more than 7 seconds already difference. Then there's Luke Whitehead losing 3 seconds to Alex Ramounier, and then there's Riley losing 5 seconds to Luke Whitehead. So let's say in the front we have missed, let's say not missed, but we haven't seen any big battles. Let's say in the top 3, it was in the first corners, in the first lap, when Luke Whitehead was able to overtake Ramounier, and then Ramounier did a good strategy and took back his place, doing an undercut So basically doing a pits 2 laps faster, then gaining a time and then getting in the front before Luke Whitehead getting out from the pits. So that was the only, let's say the 2 times when there were some changes in the top 3, because Grantas Kareckas is just flying. He's super stable this race, and yeah, he proved us that after qualification, as he was the fastest one. So there was not that big chance, let's say, and he proved it that there was no chance for anyone to overtake him today. But
Now,
here we can see that Samir Foch is trying to get from the outside and get Podans, and it seems that it will work out for him, right?
yeah, I mean,
Yep,
it was
and it works
very
out.
close, very close, and it seems that both drivers went into this very, so to say, correctly. Both stayed on their line and left space for each other. Very tight through these turns, but well done on both. Of course, maybe Kristers isn't that happy, but it was a nice moment there. Nice battle.
That was a really brave move from the outside. So
Yeah.
and Samir was he was following Kristers for for 5, 6, maybe even more laps. So most probably he calculated the place where let's say Ferrari could be faster, because on this let's say straight acceleration it's really hard to overtake Bentley. So he let's say he most probably he was preparing for it, and he know that in that corner the outside line could work out basically, and it worked out also. So, and I think we know that it's the last lap for Grantas Kareckas right now.
Yeah, and he's already on the long straight, and well, he's 9 seconds ahead of Axel Ramonet. He's been flying. To give a perspective of how much, if we look at the fastest laps done from everyone, then Grantas is the only one who's gone below 2:04. I believe he, well, maybe his quali lap was better than 2:03.7. Probably was at the end because he improved, yes. But it's very close to his quali lap, 2:03.7. So Grantas really has been, well, flying tonight. And there's no other driver who's done a 2:03 in the race.
Yeah, that's half of the second faster than anyone else in the race. So that's really impressive.
And while we're saying that, he has gone out of the last turn and he's celebrating already by winning his 3rd race of the season. And Axel Ramonet is crossing the finish line in P2, and Luke Whitehead finishes in P3, and also, well, saying hi to his pit lane box probably. And then also Jonathan Riley finishes in P4, and Chris Hartwell in P5, both being P6, and Samir Foch in P7. It was actually, he was able to get closer as well, but yeah, not soon enough. Kristers Podans in P8, Alexander Kniežits in P9, and Matteo Piccolo closes out top 10. Ulke van der Meer in P11, Jonathan Clifford P12, DOR in P13, Remy Papin in P14 after his drive-through, Joe Dauber in P15, barely holding on the position against Alejandro Perez, Alexander Luboslavsky in P17, Davy Hill in P18, Borimechko in P19, Jonathan Junior in P19, Delerba in P20, Kumpu in 21, King in 22, then Munier Kabir in P23, Adrian Antomarchi in P24, Miguel Silverio in P25, then Ruder is still closing out his lap. Has a bit of a moment touching the sausage curb, sliding a little bit on the exit, but does it in a fashion, and finishes in P26. And then, yeah, we have already mooring the boxes. So that's the race. That's the race.
Yeah, and we see that Grants Karetskis is already ready for the interview. So let's wait for other drivers to also be there. But yeah, Jānis. So what's your highlight of this race?
I think I mean the moment Remy Papin went in for the big dive move and was somewhat in the middle of the race. There was this massive train from like P5 or P6 up to like P10, and that one move created such a big chaos, and probably most of the positions that were changed in the top 10 was somewhat accelerated by that one move. And in the end, of course, Remy Papin also suffered by the drive-through, but I think that one move was the highlight of the race, as it created a big action for a whole lap.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. And then afterwards, there were not that, let's say, that big fights, at least for those guys, right? And once again, really unfortunate for Lucas Congratel, whose cat turned off the internet, so he was also part of this this fight, I think. So yeah, and then we saw a lot of actions from David Hill also. He's as you named it. So he was driving a McLaren tank basically. So so let's see. Let's wait for drivers to come. We see that we have a Grant Karetskis already there.
Everyone is Grant Karetskis right now.
Wow, that's. I think I should know who's the real Grant.
Yeah,
Karetskis,
I know. It's the one in the it's the one with the close
with
up
the
of a
cat.
cat. Yeah,
Right.
but now that we said it, now all of them will change their pictures as well. So
That could be a problem. So we need to get back to, let's say, to check everything else. But yeah, so we're still waiting for Luke and for Alex Ramunier.
I think we have Ramunier. I believe we do.
Okay, that's a good guess from your side. Let's say
I mean, I think we should start as is, and then yeah, let's see if
yes.
we'll get everyone.
Okay, but I think let's wait a few more things. So I know, yeah. Let's wait to not get into the situation when we're inviting the guys who are let's say some that let's say supporting some guys there. So or let's just maybe invite Grantas and then let's see when the other guys are getting in. So
Yeah, yeah. We see that.
yeah, hi Grantas.
Hello.
So yeah, okay. So it's right now it's how it's called, not flash mob, or I think we saw also Luke Whitehead changing his name. So that's nice. Look, the picture is not let's say is a hint.
It's a giveaway, but yeah, a lot of Grantas Karetskis right now in the chat there.
I got a lot of fans, right?
Hell yeah.
But I think that we still haven't got Alex, right?
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, Axel doesn't speak English, he says.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's then that's it. It's only two of you today. So yeah, quite an, let's say, peaceful race for both of you, except Luke, that did an overtake to Axel at the start of the race. But yeah, grant us maybe there was something that we didn't see?
For me,
Yes.
yeah, no, it was a flawless race. Very good quality, very good race and pace. Yeah, so very happy how I managed to, to do those consistent laps, to do such amazing pace, and yeah, very happy. Obviously, as I said, flawless race, couldn't have got any better at all. And yeah, looking forward to the next round, of course.
Okay, so let's say, did you suffer any, let's say, not suffer, but did you have some big tire wear, and that was the problem, or not really? Especially taking care that, let's say, this track is usually quite demanding on the tires, and Mustang is also quite demanding on the tires.
Yeah, I had a bit of a pace drop, a bigger pace drop after 10 laps. For sure, Mustang struggles on tires a bit. But everyone had a huge drop off, to be honest, on this track. It's crazy. I think it's the worst tracks in terms of tire wear. So yeah, I had to not over push, try to not slide too much because it's quite tough with the TC on this track with this car. So yeah, managed it pretty well, and yeah, very happy with that.
Yeah, and also one thing that we saw, that your fastest race lap was half of the second faster than the second fastest in the server, and you were also really close to your quali pace. Let's say to your quali fastest lap. So it means that that you had a really good, as you said, flawless race.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, on quali was fast track, I think, and barely went to optimum, so had way less grip compared to what he had in the race in the second stint. But yeah, it's still very close, and honestly did not expect to do such laps because in practice I wasn't as quick, but I just somehow found pace just before the quali, so very happy.
And congratulations once again, Grants. And
Thank you.
Luke, how about you? So yes, we saw some battle between you and Axel at the first lap, and then he did an undercut and cut you. Let's say get in the front of you after the pits.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah. Well, start was really good. Probably if I was a little bit more brave, probably could have had a go at Grantas, to be honest, into turn one, but I thought better of it because, I don't want to cause a 20-car pile-up into turn one. It's not an ideal way to start the race. But yeah, managed to get past Axel, and then just, had no pace. Decent pace, no consistency. With ACC in its current state, it's really hard to feel what the front tires are doing, and especially with the Ferrari, which has quite a light steering generally, it's really hard to feel what the fronts are doing. So you just randomly go into a corner and the front just disappears. You have no grip. And that was kind of the issue that I kept having, was that the car would feel great. Then all of a sudden, all of the front grip disappears and I just have nothing. And it made it very difficult to be consistent. And especially with, I've been driving on other things, and it definitely means that my adaptation is not as good as it kind of usually would be. But just not really got the pace, and not really got the consistency. And I mean, Grantas drove faultlessly, so GG's to him. And obviously Axel did as well. So Axel, P2, great result for him, so GG's. But yeah, we all kind of struggled, to be honest. Seemingly apart from Grantas. Grantas kind of had it nailed, had the pace, had the tire drop. And as I say, had the consistency as well. I think it kind of helps that, having driven the Mustang here at this track before, it rides the curbs really nice. So, you have the consistency in the car generally when I've driven it. Feels very consistent. So I think that definitely helps. But yeah, as I say, Grantas drove very well. And I think if next race is Bathurst, which I think it is, Grantas will most likely win that one as well, given that I know how fast the car is there and how fast Grantas is. But, we'll see. I mean, I'm just trying to get the results that I can. We've seen in other championships it's hard to fight the Ford, especially when you have someone in the car that's as good as Grantas is. So, it's a losing battle, but we'll try our best. And, I think next race, as I say, is Bathurst, which is a track that I like quite a lot. So hopefully we'll do okay. We'll see how we get on.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. And let's about the front grip. Is that something COTA specific, or let's say you can feel it more in this track, or that's overall? Because it's the first time this season you're let's say mentioning or highlighting this one.
Yeah, I mean it was very bad at Suzuka. Partially was setup problem at Suzuka. But it was definitely more prevalent at the tracks with the longer sweepers. So this track, for example, has a lot of long corners. Same with Suzuka. Paul Ricard, funnily enough, it doesn't really have that issue, but I suppose because you're quite low wing, the car kind of gets a lot of natural rotation through that. I'm not really too sure. As I said, I'm still getting to grips with this car, so there's a lot of stuff that I don't really know about it, and don't really, I'm not really adjusted to it yet. But yeah, it definitely was a problem today. But I think I had the pace and I say the car was quick enough to match the Ford today, no doubt about it. But I didn't have the consistency and didn't really have the raw pace either. So just got to do better and see how we get on next week.
Yeah, so we missed you. We missed you. Let's say your sponsor speech last time. So look, so there's an let's say opportunity once again for both of you. So Grantas, so who are those? Let's say the one you are willing to say thank you.
Obviously, mainly my team, Visceral Esports, my manager Pran, and my friend who's been in the voice chat with me the whole race and been with me in the voice chat for every single race so far this season. Is Tadas. So yeah, thanks a lot to them.
Yeah, and look, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Or you
yeah,
need you need more time to prepare as usual.
No, I'm all good. Sorry, I was eating some sushi. But yeah, no, I mean the main one is Ferrari HP Esports team, Scuderia Ferrari HP Esports team. Driving for them is an honor. It really is. So despite obviously the difficult races we've had, it's still an honor that they support me and put their faith behind me. And obviously working with Jonathan Riley and Chris Hartfeld is a privilege. We all get on really well. So we do well. We succeed together, and we also struggle together as well at times. So it's good to have a very supportive team behind. Obviously, again, GG's to Axel and Grantas. Good guys, good drivers as well, and they're driving really well at the moment. So good results. And also to my stream, everyone who tuned in earlier, thank you very much. And thanks also to AOR for hosting this as always.
Yeah, thank you guys. And I'm checking the standings right now, and they are already updated. So let's say to build something up for the next week. I can see that Grants right now is leading the championship, leading by 41 points. George Woodby still remains let's say second, 341. Then Jonathan Riley 325, and you look 314. So that basically means that for the fight for the win, Grants is a bit more ahead, but all of the other three of you are really close to each other. So we will have a really great last 2 rounds of the season. As you said, Luke, the next one will be in Bathurst, and then the final one in the Spa. So let's see what those will bring to us.
Yeah,
shall
should
see.
be good.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you guys for the interviews, and
thank you very much, guys. Take care.
See ya.
Thank you.
Thanks. See you. Yeah, so that basically sums up our fifth race of the season that we had in the COTA, so which was won by Grantas Karaitskas. It was a really impressive drive from him. He was, I would even say, dominated really this time. So he won the qualification, and he got the half of the second fastest lap time than the second one, and win by a bit less than 10 seconds. Then second one, Alex Ramunier in this race, and the third one, Luke Whitehead, that we just heard. So yeah, we have 2 more rounds to come. And before we're closing, I wanted to say our biggest thank you to our supporters. Firstly, the Patreon. So the Patreon supporters. So once again, thank you guys. It's really great that you are supporting us, and you are the reason why we are able to be here to stream, and also to iterate or to see this race, this great race together. Secondly, thanks to Coach Delta, Coach Dave Delta. That is a setup and data analysis app for iRacing, ACC, Le Mans Ultimate, and even Gran Turismo 7. So if you want to remove the mystery and stay ahead of your rivals, so then use Coach Dave Delta. And of course, as usual, big thank you for the all AOR stuff that are making this league happens and all the races, and especially the steward guys that are doing the live stewarding in the race. And for sure, also thank you to you, Jānis, joining and helping us with this stream.
Of course, thank you, everyone, and it's been a pleasure. And only 2 more races to go. Next one is a bit longer than usual, so 90 minutes instead of 60. It's one of the most exciting tracks that we have in general in racing, I would say. So, looking forward to next week. Thank you all, and have a nice week.
Have a nice week, guys, and see you next week.
Shut